Om Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Tarishyami Siddhir Bhavatu me Sada. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. Paramananda Madhavam. Okay, so for those of you who are new, our Gita class is every Monday, and it will be from 6:30 to 7:30 is the class. And then after that, if anyone has questions, they can stay back and ask. Typically, everyone logs on around 6:20. And we have a few bhajans, and then we chant Sthita Prajna Lakshana. So this time, we will be continuing Bhagavad Gita. We will actually start chapter 6. So the book that we are using is from Chinmaya Mission. You can either purchase the Holy Gita or this individual chapter books, chapter 6. And the rest of the chapters, if you missed chapters 1 to 5, then that is in our Chinmaya New York YouTube channel. So you can check that and catch up. If you have to miss a class, please watch the recording so that the thought flow is very clear. Because as we know, the Bhagavad Gita, every verse links to the next verse. So if you miss a class, if you miss something, catch up on the recording. Dina Ji is also going to be sending recaps right after the classes. So that's another way to refresh our memory before we come to class. Treat this as a sacred satsang. So no food, no distractions, nothing whatsoever. This is our time that we are committing to Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavan Krishna and the knowledge of our entire Guru Parampara. Okay, so we invoke Bhagavan Ganesha's grace, his blessings to start chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. And the first chapter was Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Yoga means something that unites us to the higher. So the first chapter was all about Arjuna's breakdown, how Arjuna went into the middle of the battlefield and realized that even if he felt he was so strong, he was so capable, when he faced Bhishma and Drona, he couldn't fight. His head was dizzy, he sat down, he let go of his bow, the Gandiva. And so chapter 1 is Arjuna uniting to the higher through grief, Vishada. He had a lot of grief, and that's actually what made him seek Bhagavan. It made him seek the truth. Chapter 2 then was Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya here means Brahma Vidya. Chapter 2 focused on the knowledge of the self. What is that Atman, which is neither born nor dies? That Atman, which was always there, is there, will always be there. That same one Atman which is in each and every being, that cannot be destroyed by any weapon, cannot be wet by any water, dried by any air. And the one who realizes that Atman and lives that knowledge is called the Sthita Prajna. And so before the Bhagavad Gita class, we chant the 18 verses of a Sthita Prajna, one who is established in this knowledge with the hope that we too get to that state. Then chapter 3 is Karma Yoga, because Bhagavan Krishna in chapter 2, after explaining the whole Jnana Yoga, tells Arjuna, Arjuna, I've explained to you Jnana Yoga, but now you engage in Karma Yoga. And Arjuna is also confused. Why should I engage in Karma Yoga? So chapter 3 opens with the entire practice of Karma Yoga. So if anyone wants to know the secret of Karma Yoga, that is chapter 3. Then chapter 4 takes a little bit of a more serious note, which is Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, which says now after performing Karma Yoga for some time, now take it to a deeper level where one renounces doership. So even if one is acting in this world, even if one is going about in this world, action doesn't mean moving. Action means doership. And inaction means renouncing that doership. So amidst all of this action, I can be in inaction if I have renounced doership. So chapter 4 focuses on that. And in chapter 4, we had that beautiful verse, Brahmar Padam Brahmavihi, seeing that actually everything is Brahman. That consciousness, which is enabling us to act, is Brahman. The very tools which we use is Brahman. That very altar of offering is Brahman. So everything is at one pure awareness. And then chapter 5 is Karma Sannyasa Yoga. It talks about now the path of Karma Sannyasa, how there's the path of Karma Yoga, which will eventually lead to Jnana Yoga, but there's also the path of Karma Sannyasa, which leads to Jnana Yoga. Karma Sannyasa literally means renouncing action to solely pursue the knowledge of the self. So one can go through Karma Yoga, which is that action, that selfless dedicated service, gain the purification of mind and come to Jnana Yoga, or that knowledge of the self. Or one can come through Karma Sannyasa, where one actually renounces action to focus solely on seeking the truth. And then one comes to Jnana Yoga. So now, in chapter 6, what's happening? Chapter 6 is called Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga, which literally means the yoga of meditation. It's also called Atma Samyama Yoga, which means meditation on the self, the yoga of meditating on the self, or Atma. So when one eventually becomes a little bit more quiet in life, after a certain stage in life, after doing so much action, engaging so much in the world, we crave this quietude. We crave this quietude of wanting to just sit back and close our eyes. And we crave also being alone. At some point in life, we're tired of being around people. How much can we be around people? We don't like loud noise, loud music anymore. We want something very soft and subtle. And so this chapter is all about how to turn within so that we can actually meditate on the self. Who is the person who can meditate? How does the practice of meditation actually happen? Why do we do it? When do we do it? Where do we do it? All of these questions are answered in chapter 6. And when we go through this chapter, we will realize Meditation is not this common term which everybody uses. So many people say, oh, I meditate every day, right? I sit down but what are they doing? So this is a much, much deeper understanding of meditation. Puja Gurudev says everything else is meditation. Everything else is just people going mad. But this is something much deeper. So let us now begin chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita. I will chant and then you can, repeat after me. Padmini ji will do the repetition. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Atha Shashtodhyayaha.
Atha Shashtodhyayaha.
Atma Samyama Yogaha.
Atma Samyama Yogaha.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha.
Anashritah karma phalam.
Anashrita karma phalam.
Karyam karma karoti yaha.
Karyam karma karoti yaha.
Sasanyasi cha yogi cha.
Sasannyasi cha yogi cha.
Na niragnir na chakriyaha.
Na niragnirna chakriyaha.
Chant together. Shri Bhagavanuvacha. Anashritah karma phalam. Karyam karma karoti yaha. Sasannyasi cha yogi cha. Na niragnirna chakriyaha. So first it says Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Salutations to that Paramatma, that Supreme Being. Atha Shashto Adhyayaha. This is the Adhyaya, the chapter Shashta, the 6th chapter, Atma Samyama Yogaha, which deals with the meditation on the self or Atma, or also called Dhyana Yoga. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Bhagavan Krishna says, Anashritaha karma phalam. The one who, anashrita means does not depend. Ashrita means depend. Anashrita, the one who does not depend on what? Karma phalam, on the fruits of action. Karyam karma karoti yaha. Yaha, the one who, karyam karma, the one who does their bounden duty. Karyam karma karoti yaha. Sasannyasi, that person is a sannyasi or a renunciate. Yogi cha, that person is a yogi or a meditator. Naniragnihi, and not the one who's without fire. And na akriha, and not the one who's without action. The Blessed Lord said, the one who performs their bounden duty without depending on the fruits of actions, they are a sannyasi, and they are a yogi, and not the one who is without fire and without actions. So first, in the first 2 verses, what's happening is a karma yogi is being praised. So karma yoga is the practice of 2 main things, which we saw many times in the Bhagavad Gita. I'll just touch upon it. It's called Ishvara Arpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi. In English, it means the practice of dedicating our actions towards the higher and the practice of acceptance of whatever the results are. So when we act in this world and we dedicate our actions to something greater, something higher, something far and above ourselves, and when we have this prasada buddhi, accepting whatever comes as prasad, as a gift, that is called karma yoga. The one who practices Karma Yoga is called a Karma Yogi. So now here, again, it's redefining who is a Karma Yogi. Who is the one who practices this? First requirement. Now, I've said this before also. We might think Karma Yoga is so easy. I've been doing it for so many years. I know what it is. Actually, it's very hard. The first requirement is anashritaha karma phalam. The one who doesn't depend, doesn't crave, doesn't hanker over the results of actions. Now, when we act in this world, inevitably there's going to be a result, right? For every cause, there's an effect. For every action, there's a reaction. So every time we do something, we're going to get something. Now, how and when we get it, where we get it, with who we get it, we don't have control over that. It is like a tree. A tree's dharma is to bear fruit, bear flowers, and bear fruit. And with the grace of the sun and the rain and the earth, the tree grows, and its dharma is to bear these beautiful flowers and fruit. Now, when the fruits come, when the fruits ripen in the tree, they fall. Where are the fruits going to go? The tree doesn't know. It could go to Trader Joe's. It could go to Whole Foods. We don't know. It could go to Stop and Shop. Who eats the fruit? The tree absolutely has no control. Who's eating the fruit? You could eat the fruit. I could eat the fruit. Sweet fruit or sour fruit? Again, we don't know because a worm could have gotten into the fruit. An insect could have bitten into the fruit. So maybe it could be a different taste. So all the tree has to do is just bear the fruit with whatever it's given. And then the tree has just no control over what happens to the fruit. In the same way, in our lives, all we have to do is act. Now, who is watching our action? We don't know. Who's going to appreciate us or recognize us? We don't know. Who's going to listen to us? We also don't know. And will anybody remember what we did? We also don't know. Many times we tell people, do you remember that I did that for you? No, I don't remember. Especially parents will ask their children, do you remember? And the children will say, I don't remember. And the parents get so upset that my children don't even remember this. Many times that, a family, the father would have set up his whole business thinking that his children will take over. And then the children turn around and say, I want to do something else. So we do so much and we have no control over what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, but we know something will happen. That much is there, something will happen. So anashrita karma phala means no craving, no insisting, no hoping, no worrying about what will happen. So what did I say? No craving. No craving that, oh my gosh, I want it to happen this way. I want things to be this way. No insisting that it should only be this way. It has to turn out like this. No insisting. No worrying. Oh, what will happen if this goes like this? What will happen if it doesn't go like this? And our hair gets gray, we become old, we have wrinkles because we're just worrying and worrying. So no insisting, no craving, no worrying, no hoping. Fingers crossed, I hope it happens. Let's see, I'm really hoping. And we're sitting on the edge. I hope it's gonna happen. We'll see. So all of these things are hankering over the results of actions. The Karma Yogi does not do any of this. No insisting, no craving, no worrying, no hoping. The Karma Yogi knows this much we have done, and we have done it for something greater, far and above ourselves. Something will happen, let it happen when it happens. And the Karma Yogi moves on. Then moves on to the next thing. because life is busy. We can't just keep sitting there and waiting for things to happen. So anashritaha karma phalam means this, that one has the ability to let the results come when they come, let them come how they come, when they come, with whom they come, let them just do their own thing, because you and I cannot manipulate that. We can put forth our effort in the current action, but we cannot make results come. We cannot make results come. They will just come when they come. So that's the first part about being a karma yogi. Also, this is hard. It's not easy, right? It's not easy, especially when we have, family, when we have careers, when we have all kinds of things. Anashrita karma phala. Then karyam karma karoti yaha. The karma yogi also sticks to what their dharma is. What is the main duty in life? The main duty, or our primary duty, is that we are a seeker first. We are a seeker, and then for every given role that we have, whether we are a parent, whether we are a child, we are a friend, we are a spouse, whatever role we have, there is a dharma associated with that. So the karma yogi also sticks to their dharma. They have a nishtha. Nishtha means the abidance in their dharma. They're not going here and there. So there's no question of prohibited karma, illegal karma, lying, cheating, stealing. There's no question of all of that. There's no question of karma for one's own pleasure. I just want to enjoy. I just want to do this for myself. Why can't I have me time? These kinds of questions don't come up. Because for a seeker, me time is that meditation, is that being in silence. So the one who has gotten rid of all of these prohibited karmas, gotten rid of all of these selfish pleasure karmas, and who's just sticking to what their duty is. What is my duty today? What is my dharma today? And the one who sticks to that and doesn't hanker over what the results will, what results will happen, who will bring them, when will it come. The one who sticks to their dharma and just accepts whatever comes, that's called a karma yogi. Karma yogi. So there's no ashraya. There's no ashraya in the karma phala, in what will happen in the future. The only refuge or ashraya is in Bhagavad, in that truth, in that God. That karma yogi, the one who performs action in this way, is not, is a great being. That karma yogi is actually a sannyasi. We can call that karma yogi a sannyasi, and we can even call that karma yogi a yogi. Yogi here means meditator. So in this chapter, yoga, yogi will have different meanings in different verses. Atma will have different meanings in different verses. So it's important to analyze the context, otherwise we will be confused. So that karma yogi, as a great sannyasi, is a great yogi. Why? Because a sannyasi is the one who has renounced action and also the results of action. This is what we call karma sannyas. They have renounced action and also the results of action. Whereas the karma yogi, they have renounced the results of action. They have renounced the hankering and the craving over them. So at the core, there's a lot of similarity. Both renounce things. Of course, the karma sannyasi renounces more to a deeper extent, but we all start from the level of being a karma yogi. So at the core, a karma yogi is actually like a sannyasi who renounces the results of actions. At the core, the karma yogi is actually like a meditator. It's like a yogi, a meditator. Why? Because what causes chitta vikshepa? Chitta vikshepa is, we say, is these disturbances and these agitation in the mind. What causes that? What causes that is all of this desire. This will also come in the next verse. But what causes these disturbances in the mind is desire. Desire, it's this craving, it's this hankering. All of this causes so much disturbance in the mind. And the one who doesn't have these disturbances can really meditate. So when a karma yogi renounces the results of actions, they get a great sense of peace in their mind. And then they can actually sit down to meditate. So at the core, the karma yogi is like the meditator because they have less disturbances now in their mind. Some people ask, why is it that I can't sit and meditate? Why is it that when I close my eyes, I can't really sit and meditate? My mind goes here, my mind goes there. It's because of this. It's because we're constantly thinking about the future. We're constantly worried. We're constantly wondering what's going to happen. Because of all that, we cannot sit. So for that karma yogi who is a true karma yogi, they are at the core like a sannyasi. They are at the core like a yogi, like a meditator, and not the ones who are niragnihi and akriyaha. Niragnihi means the ones who have given up the Vedic rituals of the homas, of the lighting the fire, those who have given up the Vedic rituals. And akriyaha means those who have given up these lokika or worldly rituals like tapas, austerity, japa, dana, charity. So these people who have renounced Vedic actions and worldly actions, they are not really to be considered sannyasi or yogi if they don't have the spirit of renunciation. So the important thing here is to have that spirit of renunciation and to start from there, because logically, really, we have no control over that aspect. We like to think that we have so much control, but when Bhagavan hears this, he just laughs. Gurudev says, disappointment only happens to those who make an appointment in the future. So the minute we set something in store and say, I'm going to do this, it's as though Bhagavan laughs and smiles and says, let's see. Okay. Now we move on to the second verse where he's going to talk about it a little bit more. The same concept of praising the karma yogi. So verse number 2. Yam sanyasamiti prahuhu.
Yam sanyasamiti prahuhu.
Yogam tam vidhi pandava.
Yogam tam vidhi pandava.
Nahya sanyasta sankalpaha.
Nahi sanyasta sankalpaha.
Yogi bhavati kaschana.
Yogi bhavati kaschana.
Yam sanyasamiti prahuhu. Yogam tam vidhi pandava. Nahya sanyasta sankalpaha. Yogi bhavati kaschana. So here, Bhagavan Krishna says, O Pandava, yam sanyasam iti prahuhu. That which they call prahuhu, which they call sannyasa, that is Yogam, that is actually yoga, karma yoga. Tam vidhi, know that to be karma yoga. Nahi asanyasta sankalpaha. Asanyasta sankalpaha means the one who has not renounced sankalpa, and we'll go through what sankalpa means. Yogi na bhavati kaschana. They can never become a yogi. So, O Pandava, please know yoga to be that which they call renunciation. No one verily becomes a yogi who has not renounced thoughts. So here, Bhagavan Krishna says, now Pandava, O Arjuna, know that sannyasa that we talk about is actually karma yoga. That sannyasa is karma yoga. Why? As I explained, at the core of their heart, they both have renunciation. The renunciation in karma yoga is renouncing that hankering for fruits of actions. And so at the core, it is just like sannyasa. Because that the very word sannyasa means that which is renounced. And the person who has not renounced this sankalpa, this desire, this craving, this hankering for results of actions, they will never be a yogi. They will never be able to sit and meditate. So if we're asking ourselves, some days I can meditate, some days I can sit quietly, but some days I cannot. Why? Because there's sankalpa in our mind. Now, what is this sankalpa? Sankalpa is of two types of things, right? One is that sankalpa that I want to do something. I want to do something and I should do it. And it's a firm resolve that I have to do it because if I do it, it's going to make me happy. So there's this sense of, I want to do it. I need to do it. I have to do it because it's going to make me happy. And the second meaning of sankalpa is that the fact of seeing happiness outside is making us want it. So that feeling that there is happiness there, therefore I want it. So it's both ways. I want it because I'm going to be happy, or you first see happiness there and you say, I want this because it's going to make me happy. So either way, that sankalpa really means that we are finding happiness outside in this world. We are still feeling that outside is going to make me complete. It's going to make me full and whole. And so we're still craving for it, wanting it, waiting for it, wishing for it, hoping for it. And then when we get it, what happens? We want even something more. So the one who has this sankalpa, that person cannot sit down and meditate. So in a karma yogi, that sense of giving up, that desire for the results of actions, that's gone, but there could still be the hankering to act. For a karma sannyasi, even that hankering to act, to be complete, even that is gone. So the one who has given up sankalpa, only that person can sit down and close their eyes fully. They can sit still. Otherwise, we are sitting down. We are sitting down, we are sitting still. But what are we meditating on? All of the things that we want to happen and how will they happen. And we're trying to picture, okay, if I do this, if I do that, then it will all happen. And 20, 30 minutes passed and we feel like I've meditated. But this is not meditation on the world. This is meditation on Atma. This is something much more serious. Years ago, there was this, I think it was like a documentary called The Secret. You're all familiar with that, right? And so the whole idea of that documentary was being able to use the mind to use the power of thought to gain results. And the idea is that if we focus on something intently enough and visualize it, and they had, create visualization boards and everything like that, then it would happen. But that's completely against our Shastra, because that's using all of our mental ability to gain things in the world. So that is completely a misuse of our Shastra. And it even says in Patanjali Yoga Sutras that yes, one can gain all of these siddhis, but they're a great obstacle. The idea is to use all of that thought power, all of that focus and concentration, and use it on the self. So that is the idea here. So again, Bhagavan Krishna says that Karma Yogi is wonderful, because that Karma Yogi, at the core of that Karma Yoga, is also that spirit of renunciation. And to prepare ourselves, all of us have to go through Karma Yoga. It's not like we can just sit and meditate right away, if we want to do it the right way. Now, he says there are two kinds of people that we are going to talk about here. He's going to show how Karma Yoga is a means to something much deeper, which is Dhyana Yoga or meditation. So let us see now verse number 3. Arurukshor yogam.
Karurukshormunir-yogam
Karma karanamochyate.
Karma karanamochyate
Yogarudhasya tasyaiva.
Yogarudhasya tasyaiva
Shamah karanamochyate.
Shamakaranamochyate
Arurukshormunir-yogam karma karanamochyate. Yogarudhasya tasyaiva shamah karanamochyate. So here he says, Arurukshoho, for the one who's wishing to climb, Arurukshu, Munehe, of that Muni, of that sage, Yogam, the one who's willing to attain to that yoga, Karma Karanam Uchyate. Action or karma is the karana, is the means. It is said that action is the means. Yoga Rudhasya, the one who has attained yoga, Tasya eva, of that person who has attained yoga, that dhyana yoga, Shamah Karanam Uchyate. Shama, quietude, withdrawing from action, that is the means. So for a muni or sage who wishes to attain to yoga, attain to what yoga here? Yoga of meditation, dhyana yoga. Action is said to be the means. And for that same sage who has attained to yoga, what yoga? Dhyana yoga. Dhyana yoga, yoga of meditation. Inaction is said to be the means. So let's look at this first. Here, Bhagavan Krishna uses a very, very interesting word called Arurukshu. Arurukshu. Arurukshu means the one who is desirous of climbing. So it comes from the root ru. Ru means to grow. Aru means to climb. So the one who is desirous of climbing, for that person, they should resort to karma. And for the one who's arudha, so these terms will come. in chapter 6. The one who has already climbed up, the means is withdrawal from karma. Gurudev gives a very, very nice example here. Let's say one is mounting a horse, right? So when we're mounting a horse, the beginning is you put, one foot on the stirrup and you're trying to get on the horse, but not on the horse yet. Still trying to climb. That is called arurukshu. And the one who has made it to the top of the horse is now called yoga rudha, the one who's established. So the one who's putting forth effort to climb up, arurukshu. It's like when we go for pilgrimages or yatras, right? When you're climbing up the mountain or wherever, there is so much effort that we're panting, we're sweating, we're moving, we're thinking, how are we going to get there? All kinds of thoughts are coming to our mind. But then once we get there, yoga rudha, we're so still, calm, and serene. So one is wanting to climb and one is already climbed, reached. For the one who wants to prepare themselves for dhyana yoga here is dhyana yoga of meditation, the means is karma. So Gurudev used to say, somebody asked him, how long do you meditate? What did he say? 24 hours a day. Why? Because to sit quietly for half an hour, my 23 and a half hours have to be very proper, very pure. So if one wants to slowly get to the path of meditation, then steadfast performance of one's duty to perfection without hankering for results, that is the way. That is the way. And the one who has not done this cannot truly sit. They might be able to move here and there, minds going everywhere, cannot truly sit. We only get shanti or peace when we have completed our dharma or our duty for the day. We all have this feeling, right? We all have this feeling. When we've completed whatever we are supposed to do, we feel like, But when we have not, then our mind is only going there. So for arurukshu, the sadhana, the karana, the means is karma. But now what happens when one has attained that state of being able to meditate? Now, we're not talking about somebody who could meditate for 2 minutes, 5 minutes. No, one who has attained that state of being able to sit quietly for hours, who can just dwell in the self, whose mind is so focused that it gets absorbed in the self, to one that is able to sit effortlessly. That's called yoga rudha, the one who has climbed. What is the cause for them? What is the means for them? For them, the means is withdrawal from action. Because now they don't have to engage in the world like they used to. Before they might have engaged in the world, doing all of these things, going here, there, everywhere, discovering this, discovering that. But now they have been able to turn inwards. So for those who have been able to turn inwards, then the means for them is withdrawing from action. They should now withdraw from action. They don't need to get involved in all of that anymore. Because they have achieved the spiritual practice, the ideal of spiritual practice. The ideal of all spiritual practice is taking all of our senses and mind from the outside world and bringing them in. So they have achieved that. So they can slowly withdraw. Now, some people might ask, but now I'm not in this state. I want to withdraw. I'm so tired, but I'm not in this state. I can't retire yet, or my kids are not old enough, or my kids are not settled down, or I still have responsibilities. I want to sit and withdraw, but I cannot. I am not able to do it. What do I do? Fulfill your dharma first. Fulfill your dharma, because remember, the root of our entire philosophy is Sanatana Dharma. It's based on Dharma. So fulfill Dharma first. And for those who are truly prepared to go inwards, people go away from them. Things go away from them. People drop them also. It's such a natural thing, you know? So when you and I are truly ready, people will go away. Things will go away. People will leave us alone. And that's how we know, okay, now we are ready to go inward. And when we go inward in that way, we feel that sense of peace and ease. Because meditation is the highest spiritual practice. It's the subtlest spiritual practice. And I'm not talking about just the calming your mind, following your breath kind of meditation. No, this Vedantic meditation is a subtlest practice. And when we go through the verses, we understand also what is Vedantic meditation compared to this meditation that we see out in the world. So therefore, Bhagavan Krishna says, these are the two sadhanas. So we have to see where we are in our lives and act accordingly. Now, Bhagavan Krishna, so some of us might say, I think I'm yoga rudha. I think I'm ready. I think I have climbed up there. You know, as I said, we want to be by ourselves now. I think I am there. Bhagavan Krishna says, ha, ha, ha. Check again. There are lots of qualifications for somebody who is yoga rudha, who has climbed to that seat. Who is that person who has truly climbed up? Let us see verse number 4. Yada hinendriyartheshu
Yada hinendriyartheshu
karmasvanushajjate
na karmasvanushajjate
sarvasankalpasanyasi
sarvasankalpasanyasi
yogarudhastadochyate
yogarudhastadochyate
yada hinendriyartheshu na karmasvanushajjate sarvasankalpasanyasi yogarudhastadochyate. So Bhagavan Krishna says, when this happens to us, then we are yoga rudha. We have climbed up and we can sit and meditate, and it's okay if we don't do anything at all. Completely okay. When is this? Yada, when na indriyartheshu anushajjate. When we do not get attached. Anushajjate means we don't get attached to indriyartheshu, in sense objects. When we're not attached to sense objects, na karmasu anushajjate, and we're not attached to karma, to action. Sarva sankalpa sannyasi, and we have also renounced all of those thoughts that there is joy out there in the world. Then yoga rudha tad uchyate tada, then that person is said uchyate to be yoga rudha, one who has climbed up to yoga or attained yoga. So when a person is not attached to sense objects or to actions, having renounced all of these thoughts, that person is said to have attained yoga, dhyana yoga, yoga of meditation. So first, let's talk about attachment to sense objects, right? The person who has not even attachment, but no interest. So many of us are still so interested. Oh, what's there to see? Oh, what can we do? What can we watch? What can we learn? Where can we go? We're still so interested to visit all of these sights and sounds and do this and do that and go here and go there. The world is still attracting us. So guess what? We can't sit quietly because the senses still want to go out. Paranchi khani vyatrinat swayambhu. The senses are need outgoing. The eyes are going out, ears are going out, everything is going out. And so we're still so excited to go out. We still feel the itch. And if we're home for too long, we feel the itch because we need to do something now. We need to go somewhere now. If we're in a place for too long, we feel like I need to move. I need to move. This is, I can't stay here anymore. So the one who does not anymore have the itch, the one whose senses are not going out anymore, the one whose senses are just held at bay. They're not interested in going out. There's no interest. This is indriyartheshu na anushajjate. No interest. So therefore no attachment. And because the senses are not interested to pursue the world outside, there is no action towards them. Why are we all acting every day? We are all acting every day like beggars because we want some joy from some laddu, some booby, some conversation, some event. We're all acting like beggars and trying to go to these places, eat these things, try these wonderful things because we're hoping to get a little bit of that happiness. And so all of our actions are just for that. But then the one who has no interest in now this world outside is not going to pursue the world anymore. So they don't feel like going anywhere. This is what we call JOMO, joy of missing out. They don't feel like going anywhere. They don't feel like doing anything. They don't feel like, and it's not a tamasic kind of thing. It's not tamasic that they're so lazy. It's a very sattvic state where they just don't feel it. Because what could be compared to the joy that they feel within? So there's no interest in acting, no interest in the sense objects, and sarva sankalpa sannyasi. That idea that there is joy outside in the world and it's going to make me whole and complete, that has been renounced. This is the beginning of Vedanta. The beginning of Vedanta is when we understand that an object outside, whatever it be, a piece of cake, a chocolate, or a phone, that there is no happiness in this thing. There's no happiness in an object. It doesn't have the ability to give me happiness because if it did, there was happiness in it, would give happiness to everybody. But it doesn't give happiness to everybody. If it had happiness in it, then the more I would have it, the more happy I would be. But if I eat like 10 laddus, I'm totally sad and miserable. If it had happiness in it, then it would always give me happiness. But when I'm sleeping at night, there's no way I want to eat anything. It's going to make me utterly sad. So this firm conviction that outside in this world, there is no ounce of joy, that is called sarva sankalpa sannyasi. So what is the world for then? The world is to do our dharma and get vairagya. That's it. Do your duty. And when that duty is done, this sense of detachment will come that there is something deeper in it than this whole world. And that's what I want. I don't want any of this anymore. Duty or dharma is for vairagya. Duty is for detachment. Until and unless I get that full sense of detachment, my duties aren't done. So for this person, who has three things. One, no interest in the sense objects outside, therefore no attachment to it. If I get it, I get it. If I don't get it, I don't get it. Doesn't really matter. No interest in karma to procure those sense objects. No, they're still doing karma, but not to procure all of these sense objects or things. And they have no doubt that happiness is within. They do not think, or they know for sure rather, that there is no happiness outside. So this kind of person can sit quietly, fully, effortlessly, and just deeply, because nothing is pushing them out. Whereas you and I, when we sit, so many things are pushing us out. So many things are pushing us out, and it becomes very difficult. So today we will stop here. I will just summarize these points, and then we will pick up next week. Bhagavan Krishna starts from saying that a karma yogi is like a sannyasi and like a yogi meditator. Why? Because a karma yogi also renounces the results of actions. A karma yogi renounces the results of actions. So there's a spirit of renunciation. That's like a sannyasi. And because the karma yogi has renounced the results of actions, the mind is not disturbed, it has less disturbances. So therefore, the mind is like that of a yogi. So this karma yogi is truly a divine being, is karma yogi. And to be a karma yogi, one has to stick to whatever their dharma is, and no worrying, no hankering, no insisting, no hoping for any result. The result will come. How it has to come, when it has to come, where it has to come, it will come. But the karma yogi doesn't hanker over that. And therefore, that karma yogi is called arurukshu. Arurukshu means the one who is climbing up to the ladder of meditation. That is the karma yogi. And through their karma yoga, the mind becomes more and more purified, and eventually they're able to climb all the way up to become yoga rudha. Who are the ones who have climbed all the way up? What is the means for those who have climbed all the way up? The means is that they have renounced all of these actions. All of these unnecessary actions have been renounced. Am I that yoga rudha? Am I that person who has climbed up and now is completely ready for meditation? Take the test. Are my senses still reveling in the world outside? If yes, then I'm not ready. Am I still doing so much karma to just pursue sense objects? If yes, then I may not be ready. Do I still see happiness in this world outside? If yes, then I'm not ready. So these three are the checks for somebody who is yoga rudha, somebody who has climbed up in meditation. More we will take up next week. We'll say the closing prayer, and then those who have questions or comments, you can stay back. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.